In this video, I'll teach you how to start your own carpet cleaning business. I've freed 3 people from their 9-to-5 jobs in Calgary, Edmonton, and Leduc. You could be next. Things don't always go so well for aspiring entrepreneurs. Why do so many small businesses fail? Are you exposing yourself to being sued by your customers? Is your marketing campaign a waste of money? Watch the video and I'll make sure you have the answer to all these questions. I've broken it down to a list of 5 things. First, decide on your business structure. Your options are sole proprietorship, partnership, or incorporating. Sole proprietorship is the simplest business structure to start, typically costing about $100 to register. It means that you'll be reporting your revenue or expenses all on your personal tax return at the end of the year. A sole proprietorship is really just an individual engaging in self-employment. A partnership is similar to a sole proprietorship in that way, except there are 2 people who are engaging in self-employment together. If you're smart, when you start your partnership, you will fill out a partnership agreement. This will outline your responsibilities, your contributions, your liabilities, what happens if you sell, what happens if a partner goes absent, all of those question marks that come up years down the road. Some people say partnerships are risky because maybe one partner finds a way to kind of screw you over, or they get sued and then you're also implicated in the lawsuit because you're partners. But if you have a well-detailed partnership agreement from the beginning, you can avoid a lot of this mess. Overall, a partnership is a good business structure, just like a sole proprietorship. It's quite similar. You just need to make sure you're protecting yourself from some of the issues that come with operating a business with another person. The last option is to incorporate your business. So when you incorporate a business, you're creating a separate legal entity. This business structure is really designed for a very large business because you have to determine who the shareholders are, you have to establish bylaws, you have to complete articles of incorporation, you have to pay a professional accountant to do your taxes. There is just a lot of administrative bull that's involved with having a corporation. So it's not exactly designed for small owner-operated businesses like a carpet cleaning operation typically is. Generally, I'd suggest a sole proprietorship or a partnership because it has less of an administrative burden. But disclaimer, do your own research and pick a business structure that fits your vision. Number 2, get licensed and insured. With any business structure, you need to get general liability insurance. This type of insurance protects you from being sued due to bodily harm or some type of accident, property damage that happens while you're operating your business. Generally, you'll want 1 or 2 million, and this will cover most incidents, those slip and falls. If you accidentally spill a bucket of water in a customer's home and then the water starts leaking through the floor and then the ceiling of the basement, you want to have liability insurance for these things that come up. What can happen will happen, so you just need to be protected. There's the other thing too, where every once in a while you might have someone who gets excited because maybe something small happens and they think they can use this as an opportunity to get a whole new floor or to get their whole house renovated. And it's really important to have an insurance company behind you because they'll send in adjusters, they'll assess the damage, and they'll make sure that you don't kind of get milked over a small incident. It generally costs about $100 a month. And in addition to them kind of fighting those battles for you when a customer accuses you of something, it also protects your personal assets from everything that goes on in your business. I'm sure your wife or girlfriend or whatever will be pretty upset if she finds out that all your life savings have been drained because of an employee or because you accidentally kind of spilled something and it got out of control. It's worth the $100 a month. Otherwise, all of your personal assets are vulnerable to being sued for. Okay, now licensing. Guess what? You probably have 2 or 3 levels of government that you have to pay to get a license from to operate your business. In Canada, this is the federal government, the provincial government, and the municipal government. America, I'm sure, is something very similar. These are kind of just wasted money in a sense. So business licenses are generally created so that they can revoke your license if you're doing something wrong. So you're kind of paying money just so that they can revoke the thing you bought if you do something wrong. But regardless, just pay these fees and get on with your life. Number 3, open your business accounts. This includes your bank account, your invoicing, your point of sale system, and your bookkeeping system. Once you've registered your business with all 3 levels of government, take that registration to your bank and they will allow you to open a business bank account. It's important to have a business bank account because then you can deposit checks that are in your trade name. Also, it's often required by certain point of sale merchants such as Square because if they're seeing a lot of transactions come in and out, they kind of want to know you're a business. You need a business bank account really to do the major banking features that are going to be required with operating a business. You also want to become familiar with an invoicing system. Personally, I use Wave. I find it pretty easy. I have no sponsors or anything. I just find them the best. You can easily make an invoice, email it to a customer. They can pay with their card or e-transfer, whatever. But there are some rare cases where, the customer isn't home. So you do need to send an emailed invoice, and you can also send receipts from there when needed. So it's a good software to get comfortable with. For point of sale transactions, I typically use Square just because I like the look of their terminals. I think they're very pretty. And then having that big screen makes it easier to kind of solicit customers for tips if you are looking to get tipped for your services. I just find Square to be quite simple. For bookkeeping, I like to store my receipts by just taking a photo of them and uploading them to Google Drive. And then each month I go through my expenses and I record what I've spent that month according to which category of expense. Expense categories include things like advertising, meals and entertainment, supplies. There's a whole list of things that the CRA looks for. So it's good to do some research like through TurboTax or just through the Government of Canada's website. Figure out the expense categories so that when your receipts are accumulating, you know how to label them for tax time. The same goes for America as well. And if you don't want to do your own taxes, then just get in contact with a bookkeeper or an accountant. But you will save a lot of money by keeping track of your own expenses and receipts. So I do recommend it. Remember that to a small business owner, receipts are gold. So you have your revenue, then you have your expenses. Your expenses are subtracted from your revenue to get your net income. And your net income is the number that you'll be paying your income tax on, your Canada pension plan, your EI premiums if you're paying them if you've opted in. So the net income is the most important number. And to reduce your net income, you want to make sure you're claiming every single expense that comes your way. In Canada, you also have the option of opting out of collecting GST if you make less than $30,000 in revenue a year. Now, no matter what, I think you should opt into this because when you are charging people for carpet cleaning services, you're going to add GST to their bill. Okay. And then when you're spending money on supplies, you're going to pay GST to wherever you buy your supplies from. The Government of Canada allows things called input tax credits. So whatever amount of GST you spend buying supplies, you're allowed to subtract that from the GST you've collected from carpet cleaning customers and then only remit what's left to the government. So it's very cool. So basically you get to collect more GST from your customers than you give to the government. It's a way of them supporting small businesses. So keep track of your receipts, keep track of your GST, and then do complete a GST filing at the end of the year when you do your taxes. Number 4, buy your equipment. Lucky for you, I already have a whole video on this, so you should definitely check that out. But long story short, if you are going to be completing carpet cleaning jobs, you should try to get as big of a machine as possible that you can handle for your body. If you're just doing upholstery and auto detailing, you can go for a bit of a smaller machine because you do need a bit less power in those cases. But what I do recommend is just Google carpet cleaning suppliers near me, go to one of these businesses that has the machines out on the floor, pick them up, envision yourself carrying them up and down the stairs every single day for the rest of your career, and find a machine that really suits you and your body, and find a balance between impressing the customers with your big machine and using something that isn't going to break your body down over time. Number 5, start your marketing campaign. So there's lots of marketing secrets, which I have to keep to myself and my other Mr. Steam partners because they're as good as gold. But your general strategy is you want to appear higher on Google. There's lots of snake oil salesmen that tell you if you give them money, they can do that for you. The reality is Google only cares about serving the individual Google search user. So as a new business, they're not really going to want to put you right on top because they don't trust you yet. You don't have the Google reviews. You don't have the history. It's going to be really hard to be on top right at the beginning, but you can get there. First, you should open a Google My Business profile. You should get your name on Google. You're going to have no reviews at the start, but that's okay. You're going to create some social media profiles. You're going to take your absolute best work. Maybe for your first job, you just clean your friend's house or your own house or something. You get some nice pictures, some nice videos. You create a social media ad, and then as people are scrolling through their feed, they're going to see your business. You get those first few jobs, and then you ask them if their experience was 5 stars. Assuming it was, you send them a link to review your business on Google. After a while, once you have 10, 20, 30, 40 reviews on Google, you'll start to actually appear on Google through the organic search. That way, customers are going to find you for free. You don't have to pay anything to get customers. They're just going to find you on Google search. So, long story short, appearing on Google is the absolute best thing. Best. Everyone uses Google, obviously. But at the beginning, you can't get there. So you need to find ways to get Google reviews, even though you aren't showing up really high at the beginning. Okay, for any more secrets, you gotta become a partner of Mr. Steam. I have a few other tricks, but there's a good freebie. Oh, and another trick, maybe this one's obvious, but make sure your pricing is very competitive at the beginning, maybe even a slight discount over other people, because there are certain customers who will interview like 10 companies before they choose one, and they're just gonna pick the lowest price. So at the beginning, bite the bullet, just get these really like price-seeking customers on your side, get them to write you 5-star reviews, and then you can work your way into these groups of people who are willing to pay more for a brand or for like, a particular standard of service. Well, you were smart. You watched to the end of the video. You got your advertising freebie. You're much less likely to fail now that you've heard these tips. So just take this list of items I've given you, go out, get it done, get those carpet cleaning jobs done, get those 5-star reviews, and start building your business into the business that you need it to be for your lifestyle. If you get stuck anywhere in the process, feel free to email me and be sure to check out my other videos.